All right, in this episode, we're gonna lower the fuel cell in the car, drop the motor out, and turn his Oogas from just normal Oogas into speed Oogas. So here's something new for us. We are draining Miller's fuel cell for the 17th time. But not because he's got water in it, because we're actually just draining the fuel.
So once again, for the 400th time, I get to drain my fuel cell, and James gets more gas for his lawnmower. Woo! That is crazy. I ain't never seen it go like that before.
You and I blame Dave Trask's fuel filter. You didn't have these problems, so you got one of those.
There goes all my gas once again for the 20th time. More gas for his lawnmower.
And there we go. I don't even know how much fuel he has in there. All right, now that we got the fuel drained out, what we're gonna do, unbolt the fuel cell, get this guy out of here, because we're gonna end up lowering his fuel cell down so it's not so high. We'll get to sit right about here. So I need to remove these Oogas so I can get in there. She's out. I am not sure how exactly his fuel cell even comes out of here. There we go. Silver Lake Sand Dune. That filament, we just got his motor dropped down, and she's a lot tighter fit now that we've shortened the cage, but she's out. We gotta actually get it out from the space because it sits a little lower than this bar here. But, well, motor's out though. It's getting there, getting torn apart. There it goes. How much oil you got, Larry?
You tell me.
That's the Wild J way. Well, we've placed his old fuel cell in the car. Kind of start measuring stuff out, figuring some stuff out. We're going to end up lowering the fuel cell down and moving it back about 1.5 inches so it'll clear his seatbelt mounts. Look at how much more room is back here now. Woo! There's room for all kinds of activities in here. Well, here's what happened. This is why the motor didn't survive, Miller. Look at Ooga, partial Ooga. This is power to the Ooga. It's not even connected. You can't run the car without the quad Oogas. It's just bad luck, which resulted in a blown motor. No, you gotta be at full Ooga power. You know what the problem is?
Well, you're gonna tell me what?
No Oogas.
Oh yeah, try them.
We already know that.
I'll go get some fuses for the Oogas.
Yep. We're gonna need to check that.
Well, one thing we gotta do before we even start looking at the interior is get this junk cleaned up, because yeah, Miller, you had something living in your car. Okay, so here's an odd one. Everything on his car is dead. We got no headlights. Nothing except for... How? Nothing works except for the Oogas. So the plan right now was we're going to suspend his fuel cell up in the air off these straps. Try to get it where we want it. And then start welding it in. And then I can start getting all the cobwebs, the wires out. Getting all this taken apart, pull the transaxle. In fact, I might need a little more room. I might lift this up a little more than I thought I was gonna. Just to make a little more room down here. Let's go look at it. And I got a lazy pup in the way. So while we got all this hanging here, this is roughly the plan right now. Is to get an oil cooler up in there, because currently Miller's just been running the stock oil cooler, and by lowering the fuel tank down you can get airflow right to it. But eventually his biggest issue is he needs to keep oil in the engine. The plan is he wants one like this, which is roughly, we'll say 10 inches. And then we'll make new mounts for it when we get to that. And that'll work. So it'll fit back up in there the way everything sits now. So I think we're going to start making the brackets and getting the fuel cell welded back into the car. And then one other thing that's going to be new to this car, we're going to remove the Quadugas. We're going to just change them from normal Oogas into speed Oogas.
Resistance is futile.
I'll see you in a little bit. Alright, so we pretty much got the fuel cell where we're going to want it. Time to start making the connector pieces to make it all work. We got these guys made up. Time to tack them in. Well, before we fabricate the next piece and weld it in, let's get these seatbelt tabs off here so we're not welding next to his seatbelts. Alright, well, got this one piece cut out. Looks pretty decent. Let's get her tacked in. Alright, I got the second side close enough. Let's get them all tacked in. Now that we got the fuel cell tacked in, I think we're going to come back here. We're going to start removing the Oogas. We're going to get the oil cooler mounted up in here. We don't have a fan yet, but we'll figure that out later. We're gonna have to relocate his backup beeper, because for the new speed Oogas, that's gonna be in the way. Before we do, one last Ooga blast. Not much of a blast. Miller, you gotta keep the Oogas working, or else the car doesn't run at 100%.
Well, the Oogas are done. That's good luck.
The Oogas are working. This car's gonna run today. It's a sad day when you're removing the Oogas. Alright, Oogas are removed. Taking this guy off, his breather, and just noticed we're gonna have to actually mount this guy up, because it's, I don't know why it's on here like this. It's on here with one bolt. It's probably not a good sign when you get just straight sludge that pours out of your breather box. That might not be good. All right, next order of business is we gotta get this mount removed for his backup beeper. We're getting closer to, wait a minute. Miller, you're missing the pin for your fire extinguisher. That might end in hilarious consequences. So what we got going on over here, we've started a temporary Miller parts shelf for the build. So that's where all his parts are gonna go for now, until this guy gets finished up. So what we did, we just marked this. We're just gonna cut all this as one piece, stick it up in there, weld it in. Instead of making new tabs and all that, I'm just gonna use the pre-existing. So let's get that cut up and tacked in. All right, got that done. How close are we? Look at that, that'll work. Let's get it clamped in and welded up. Well, there you go, Larry. Got an oil cooler welded on now. Just like that. Bracket's done. We marked it. We're gonna cut this out eventually. First, we're gonna wait to see how a fan would fit in here. And then once we do that, we'll cut these guys out. Oh. We could unscrew that and weld it back up, or just cut it off and call it good. Like it was never there. Just one. All right, so we're gonna remove his backup beeper bracket. And so, Miller, you know these stickers, the ORV stickers that you love so much and wanted to keep forever? Here we go. What? Sorry about that, Miller. Two. Three. Four. Say goodbye to the Oogas for now. What?
And I'm like, oh crap. I already had passed the die, like, there it is. Oh my god. And now you have a headache again.
Wild J with no Oogas? What is happening here? Uh-oh, Miller, I just lit your car on fire again. The backup beeper tab. We now enter the world of speed Oogas. There you go. Speed Oogas. Alright, I think we pretty much got the back end finalized back here, situated. We're gonna start tearing stuff off, pulling pieces off, getting it ready. And we're gonna turn our attention probably next video to the inside of the car and the front of the car and start working on that and fabricating that up and getting that all ready. So make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe.
They upright on his feet and he became Hammerman, Hammerman.
One time.
Hammerman, Hammerman, Hammer. Whenever there's a crime, some crooks are gonna do time. They all better beware, cause the Hammerman will be there. Here's how it started a long time ago. The legend of the hammer and how it began to grow. He was given magical shoes from a hip-hop Motown dude. Together they had power.
We did all that work. You know what we forgot to do?
What?
Your Oogles aren't working.
Dude, I know the switch ain't working either.
That's embarrassing.